Now we're going back into the DCEU for what will be our final segment for now. We're reviewing Andy Muschietti's The Flash. So this is actually part 14 of this series.
Wow.
We saw The Flash, so this is going to be a spoiler review, but it came out a while ago at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Did you enjoy this movie, dear?
I did. I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
It did make sense to me. I thought it was fine.
What did you like about this movie?
Story
You can spoil
made
as much as you
sense.
want.
I don't know. The story made sense. The characters made sense. I thought it was fine, really. Excuse me.
Well, some people are bothered, understandably, by Ezra Miller. They don't want to support that.
Well,
Because
I'm
Ezra
just
Miller's been
looking
causing a lot of problems.
as a movie.
Has been a terrible person who needs to answer to society for that now. I mentioned it before that, yeah, I don't support Ezra Miller, and, now they have to face justice, which, okay. However, Ezra Miller was really good in this movie, and did a really good job playing two different Flashes.
Right.
Some people have complained about this movie that it doesn't do enough to set up the character and explain who the Flash is for people who don't already know.
I guess we already know a lot about him, having watched the show.
Yeah, we watched the show for, 4 or 5 seasons?
Many seasons, I don't know.
And,
I know who the Flash is, I suppose it could be, yeah, you might not have
and
had a
you've
good
seen
idea.
the Flash in the first Suicide Squad movie, made a
He
brief
wasn't
appearance.
much there, yeah.
And we saw him in Justice League
Yeah,
in 2017.
You didn't get much of a sense of him there. One thing I did not like was the end scene. I thought was really silly.
The end, like the climax?
The end scene.
Oh, the post-credit scene?
I thought it was really dumb. I thought it was just a waste.
With Jason Momoa.
Yeah, I didn't think it was good at all. I think it was such a waste. It could have been much better. I didn't like it.
That's what I thought at first too. Okay? And then they could be saying something to the fans there that he's coming back as Aquaman.
Yeah, I know, but
We
you
don't
didn't
know.
have to do it in that way. I just thought it was really dumb.
I thought it was fun that we got to see almost every member of the Justice League show up in this movie. Okay?
Okay.
Okay? We get Ben Affleck. He's in it. Did you notice that his suit is blue and gray? He's doing the Adam West Batman style. He's doing classic Batman blue and gray.
I don't know.
So I noticed that. So we get Batman in this. Okay. Yeah, of course we're spoiling this now. Wonder Woman makes a brief appearance. She shows up as helping superheroes. I like that, okay? Because if she was available and she showed up, even if it's late, good, nice inclusion. We do see Superman in the Speed Force. It's just a terrible CGI Uncanny Valley thing. That's also a lot of people complain about this movie, but we'll get to that. We see Jason Momoa at the end there, so he makes an appearance, and of course Flash because it's his movie. But also we do see Cyborg very briefly in the Speed Force. You don't see his face.
About Cyborg that he's not available in this.
You don't see his face in it, but you do see an outline, and it's clearly Cyborg in the Speed Force. I noticed that. On my second viewing,
Cyborg.
You ain't seeing Ray Fisher in any more Warner Brothers movies. He ain't coming back as Cyborg after all the drama that happened.
I don't know. The character was lame in that Justice League movie. They didn't do him as good service there.
Yeah, he got pretty shortchanged there.
It was dumb.
But then he came out and said some things about Warner Brothers and talked out the studio and had complaints.
It's a waste of his character. They didn't do anything good with him at all.
If you want to see the better version with him, you watch Zack Snyder's Justice League, because that's his movie then.
Oh.
He's the main character of that movie.
I like him in Teen Titans. I like that.
Maybe one day we'll watch that, but
I don't think I have the energy
since
for
it's
that
not
now.
canonical, we didn't do it as part of our Into the DCEU.
No.
So
anyway,
I like Batman's new suit there.
I don't
Okay,
care about the suit.
we get Michael Keaton back. He's great.
I think they spent a lot of time in the movie in his basement, essentially.
In the Batcave.
There was a lot of time spent there, and there was also, I didn't care for how much time it was with these worlds colliding. I thought they could have cut out half of that.
Yeah, I didn't think they really needed that, and there was all these appearances.
I know, it's just
we get so many Superman. We get
Nicolas
Henry Cavill's
Cage.
Man of Steel. We get Nicolas Cage. Most people don't know that Nicolas Cage was in a Superman movie
Well,
that was canceled in the
wasn't.
90s. He was gonna play
It
Superman,
kinda
but most
confused
people don't
me.
know that. So
Yeah.
that's just too inside baseball. You don't need that. You got the Christopher Reeves Superman
It just
appearing
didn't need all
with
that stuff.
I can't remember her name, but the Supergirl.
There was just too
That
much
was
of
kind
the
of nice.
worlds like slowly going towards each other. It just could have been edited.
We didn't need 1950s Superman. I mean, I
We
guess
saw
it's
the
a
old
nice
Flash
touch.
in there, like running with his weird
John
helmet.
Wesley Shipp.
Yeah.
He was in the Flash series.
Yeah, but I mean, well, maybe they could have put that in, but
Both
they
of
didn't
them?
need to show so much of these worlds. There was just, I think, some editing could have been done, but it was still all right. It made sense. I definitely put it up there with the good movies that DC has made.
I think there was too many cameos to the detriment of the film. Okay, some of them were fake. Some of them were actually people showed up. I mean, how many Batman did we get in this? Michael
I
Keaton,
don't know.
Ben Affleck. We got George Clooney.
It still made sense.
We saw
I
Adam
thought that
West
was
Batman.
cute. I like the George Clooney ending.
Okay.
Now, the one thing about Ezra Miller, I don't know. It's nothing to do with all this stuff about him, but I don't really get him as the Flash.
You don't like him playing the Flash?
No.
You prefer Grant Gustin?
Oh yeah, 10
That's
times
fair.
over.
A lot of people prefer
I
Grant
feel like
Gustin.
He's just a bit weird. I don't really get what he's like. His character was a bit confusing the way he portrayed it. So I don't know why they put all their eggs in his basket. Like, I don't know why they picked him. I really don't. But that's nothing to do with what he's been up to after he made the movie. But I think he's a bit weird. I didn't care for him. I think he should be much of a sweeter character.
More like Grant Gustin.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. And that's a problem with having two different Flashes, one in TV and one in the movies at the same time. And that has to do with how Warner Brothers was so disorganized before, and now they're trying to fix that.
And we didn't get Dean Cain as Superman in this.
No, I know we didn't get Dean Cain. We also didn't get that new Superman from the CW either. We didn't get Smallville Superman. We didn't get We didn't get Brandon Routh.
No, they could have put all of them in
Okay.
there.
He would have done it too, because we just saw Brandon Routh was in that Legends of Tomorrow CW stuff.
Yeah.
And then in one of their big crossovers, he showed up as Superman.
Right.
From another dimension.
It's just weird, that whole thing about I think they should have put them all in, and that would have been fun. Put them all in. I don't know. It was just a bit weird.
I think some would have been good, but they used too many. It was
taking too long with these worlds banging into each other and stuff.
Yeah,
anyway.
I didn't like that choice. A lot of people are complaining about the visual effects, the CGI. Like, it starts at the beginning with the babies.
The way they represented
and the hospital.
that's how they chose to represent it, as a circle, as like almost like the Colosseum or something. That's how they chose to represent time and the time branches. They went as if you were in the Colosseum, like in Greece or something. That's kind of how they displayed it.
Yeah, I like that.
I wasn't the greatest fan of
that. The
The
visual effects looked incomplete, and that's what a lot of people are complaining about. However, the director has said that's on purpose. A lot of people are saying they should have leaned into that more. They should have made it look more unrealistic, so that it doesn't look like unfinished visual effects.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people, not everyone can see it, but there's this term that I'm always talking about, and no one knows what I'm talking about. It's called the uncanny valley. I'm going to read out the definition here, according to Very Well Mind. Get this. The uncanny valley is a term used to describe the relationship between the human-like appearance of a robotic object and the emotional response it evokes. In this phenomenon, people feel a sense of unease or even revulsion in response to humanoid robots that are highly realistic. What that means is that when you're looking at, sometimes you'll see a human face, and if it's visual effects, if it doesn't look perfect, your brain will notice that it looks off, and for some people, it's very unpleasant to look at.
Tarkin in Star Wars.
Rogue One.
Yeah, I didn't like Tarkin.
Yeah, so I see it, and I don't enjoy it, but it doesn't really take me out of the movie. I think they probably ran out of time, ran out of money, because they spent way too much money making this film. and they just had
thought
to
it was
release what
weird
they
the
have.
way they did it as a circle, and it was all these things that in the circle are recent things that we've already seen instead of all the different infinites that you would have.
I had such a fun time watching this movie, and I enjoyed it more on my second viewing when I took you to go see it.
I still liked it.
So there's lots of stuff. Okay, so the portrayal of both Barry Allens, the younger and the older one, is great. Michael Keaton's great in it. Sasha Cale as Supergirl, I want to see more of that.
She didn't really have much of a personality in this.
No, she didn't. But what this movie gave me is, okay, this is an introduction to her Supergirl. Now I want to see more of it. So that's a good teaser for the audience.
DC, we probably won't see more because that's
Are we
going to
see her back?
They
we don't know.
End things and not continue them.
Well, we don't know exactly what they're doing with their reboot. They're recasting some characters
they do either.
And not others. Some people are coming back in the same roles. So Jason Momoa could be coming back as Aquaman still if he wants to.
I just think that final scene was just strange.
Or he could be coming back as his fan favorite casting as Lobo.
Listen, when they had him in the puddle, I thought maybe he was gonna talk to a fish or something in there. I didn't know why the heck he was in a puddle. I really thought they was gonna find some kind of ocean treasure or something in a puddle. It just didn't make sense. Why he was in a puddle, I don't know. It was just, I don't think DC understands what an end scene is, because they really messed up on some, or they've had some good ones and they've gone nowhere, right? Like the cat. I want
to focus more on the good, because I had a really fun time with this, and I encourage people to go see this in the movies or on streaming whenever you can. It's flopping, It's just all the recent DC movies have flopped. Oh yeah, it's not doing really good.
I thought it was much better than most of them.
Yeah, but audiences aren't going to see them. People have checked out because these DC movies have been struggling for years, so it's just more of the same thing, so you have to reboot it.
Well,
they should have done that years ago.
I watched the show. I know what it was about. I don't need to see a movie about it.
Yeah, and it's the same Flash story we always get. It's a version of Flashpoint, which we've seen before several times. We've seen it on the show. We've seen it in animation. We've seen it in comics, obviously, and now we get it in this movie. There's other Flash stories.
It was fun, and it made a lot of sense. I was afraid it was going to be confusing.
Okay. Michael Shannon.
It wasn't confusing.
And, what's her name? The characters, so General Zod and Feora all are back.
Yeah.
And
they're there. They just kind of gave me, nightmares of that other movie that I didn't like.
Michael Shannon's been in the press, and he wasn't really into making this movie. So he's there. He's getting paid. He's there by contract. It's nice to see him, but I don't think he enjoyed being there.
I don't know. Listen, it made sense. It was fun. It was much better than that Superman movie that they were in before. I thought it was way superior.
I don't like that they got rid of Billy Crudup and put in Ron Livingston. I mean, what happened to Billy Crudup? He was in Justice League as Henry Allen.
Maybe he got COVID. This was made during COVID times. Who knows? I have no idea. I didn't really care. That didn't matter to me. That didn't matter to me. Anyway, it was still a
what rating would you give this?
I'd probably give it a 90.
You'd give it a 90?
89, 90. Yeah. There were some things I didn't like, but I overall liked it, and the story made sense, and I got what it was about, and it was fun. Yeah.
So you give it a 90. I give it a best movie ever. Definitely check out The Flash. It's a good time. Even if it's not really your thing, this is one of the good superhero movies, so I'd watch it. I'm going to get my physical media copy as soon as it comes out. I have... What do I want to check out here? How's it... Did I already go through the what The Flash is doing on Rotten Tomatoes right now?
You did a while ago when you talked about it earlier, but check it out now.
Yeah, probably on the last episode. Let's see what's at there.
It's been out for a little while now.
We didn't get to... It's at 66% fresh critic rating and 84% audience score. So the audiences that are seeing it are enjoying it. It's just no one's going out to see it. Which, people have checked out on these DC movies. They've been struggling for years, so...
People, if that's just saw the television show, you wouldn't have any idea of what it is.
I definitely really enjoyed this. So is this, for you... Is this better or worse than James Gunn's The Suicide Squad?
Worse.
It's not as good as The Suicide Squad.
Shazam 2, Suicide Squad, and this one. and then Black Adam's in the middle, and then everything else is.
Okay. We're gonna do a final list once we get through
Okay,
all
that's
of
my
them.
list.
It's gonna be a little bit of a pause, but we will include in the DCEU Blue Beetle when it comes out in August,
Yeah.
and
I saw
Aquaman: The
previews
Lost
for that.
Kingdom when that comes out in December of this year.
God, I'm not looking forward to that one.
Well, they're just releasing the last of these DCEU movies because then they're rebooting it, and then it's going to be a couple of years, and then they're going to start fresh with a new Superman movie. So we're getting Superman Legacy, they announced.
Okay.
So that was another chapter of Into the DCEU. Take care, everyone.
Bye.